I wish I could say I planned it, that I wanted him to see me like that. But the truth is I was just craving a moment alone in his too small bathroom, the hot water washing away 3 days of pretending I didn't still want him the way I did when we were teenagers. It was supposed to be harmless. Just me, steam, and my fingers tracing the ache I'd been carrying since the night I knocked on his door and said, "Hey, could I crash here for a bit?" I didn't hear the door open. The glass was foggy but not enough, so when I glanced up mid-shiver and saw him standing there, half shadow, half man, I swear my heart slammed so hard against my ribs I almost slipped. I froze. My hand still exactly where it shouldn't be. Water dripping from my shoulder. His eyes didn't move from mine, like he was searching for something in my shame. For a second I thought he'd mutter, "Sorry," slam the door, and we'd never speak of it again. But he didn't move. He didn't blink. He just stepped closer, his voice low enough that it felt like a secret pressed right against the skin behind my ear. "Don't stop." I don't know if I breathed then. I don't know if I even remembered how. All I know is that my body betrayed every ounce of dignity I thought I still had, and I didn't stop. Not when the shower hissed louder. Not when his hand pressed flat against the glass. Not when my knees nearly buckled under the weight of him just watching. I should have felt dirty. Instead, I felt like I'd been waiting years for him to see me exactly like this, unhidden, undone, and unable to pretend I didn't want more. And he knew. God, he knew. I met Ethan sophomore year, the quiet one in the back row who never turned in homework on time but somehow knew how to make me laugh when I was 2 seconds from crying over finals. We never dated. We flirted, yes, but only in that lazy, half-serious way that you do when you're too young to admit you want someone to ruin you a little. After graduation, I moved away. He stayed. We kept in touch the way old classmates do, the occasional like on a photo, a happy birthday text 2 days late. Nothing dangerous. Nothing real. Then last week, my life cracked open in the worst way. A fight with my boyfriend, keys thrown at a wall, my car packed with whatever I could grab in 20 minutes flat. I didn't even think before calling him. He answered on the second ring, voice still sleepy, and said, "Yeah. Just come. Stay as long as you want." And so I did. 3 nights of pretending the couch was fine, that I didn't feel him moving in the kitchen behind me, shirtless, hair messy, looking exactly like the thing I told myself I'd grown out of wanting. But wanting has teeth. It digs in quietly and waits. And that night in his shower, with my hand moving and my lips caught between gasps, all that wanting stopped pretending. And when he said, "Don't stop," it was like every yes I'd never spoken out loud finally had permission to breathe. Outside the glass, he leaned in, not enough to touch me, but close enough that I could feel the warmth of him anyway. His eyes dropped once, slow and deliberate, before finding mine again, as if to ask, "Is this really what you want?" I wanted to tell him I didn't know. But my body answered for me, trembling against the water, mouth parted around a quiet, helpless sound that felt too honest to take back. He didn't leave. And I didn't stop. There's a moment right before you give in when you swear you can still control yourself. I clung to that lie for 1 heartbeat longer, his breath fogging the glass, my pulse so loud I could barely hear the water anymore. I thought he might touch me through the door, slide his hand to the lock and step inside. Part of me ached for it, part of me was terrified he would. But he didn't. Instead, he just watched so intently it felt like he was already under my skin. My legs started to shake. Every drag of my fingers felt reckless now, not just a secret but an offering, and his eyes burned through every inch of me that tried to hide. I wanted him to say something else. Maybe, "Let me in." Maybe, "You're beautiful." Maybe nothing at all. But he stayed silent, lips parted just enough to show he wasn't as calm as he looked. His chest rose unevenly like he was fighting every instinct to break the thin wall between us. I pressed my palm to the glass, needing to feel him closer, and he matched me, his hand against mine, only a sliver of cold barrier keeping our heat from crashing together. For a second, I almost pulled back. The shame crawled up my spine again. "What are you doing? He's your friend. He's not supposed to see you like this." But then he whispered it again, rougher this time, like a promise instead of permission, "Don't stop." So I didn't. The water turned scalding, my skin humming, every nerve at the edge of unraveling. His eyes, his hand, the soft drag of steam swirling around us, it all blurred into one sharp, breathless truth. I didn't want to be good anymore. I wanted him to see exactly how badly I could break open for him. And under that cheap shower light, trembling and half-hidden, I let him. I don't remember turning off the water. I just remember my palm slipping down the glass, slick with steam, my body a trembling mess that couldn't stand another second alone. I opened the door before I could second-guess it, the glass protesting with a soft squeal, a gas caught in my throat. He was still there. So close I almost collided with his chest, the heat rolling off him in waves that tangled with mine. For a heartbeat, we just stared at each other. Water dripped from my hair onto his bare feet. His eyes flicked from my mouth to my shoulder to the curve of my neck, nowhere and everywhere all at once. I should have covered myself. I should have said, "I'm sorry," or "I don't know what I'm doing." Instead, my hands found the hem of his shirt, damp fingers tugging him closer. He didn't make me beg. His hands were on my face before I could even breathe his name, rough, careful, so gentle it made my chest ache. He kissed me like he'd been dying for permission, all those wasted years spilling out between our lips, steam curling around us like a secret we both knew would ruin everything. When he pulled back, he rested his forehead against mine, our breaths tangling, my skin still burning from the shower and now from him. "You're shivering," he murmured, his thumb brushing the corner of my mouth like he couldn't stand to lose contact for even a second. "So warm me up," I whispered, half a dare, half a confession. The sound he made, low, caught between a laugh and a groan, made my knees buckle. He caught me by the waist, pressing me back against the cold tile, mouth finding my throat, my collarbone, places I'd only ever dreamed he'd touch. There, with the whole world on the other side of a thin bathroom door, I stopped caring who I was supposed to be and let him show me who I really was. He tasted like heat and reckless forgiveness, every slow drag of his lips down my neck a reminder that we'd crossed a line we could never uncross. His hands traced the places water hadn't dried yet, each touch pulling a soft, helpless sound from my throat. I didn't know how to be quiet anymore. I didn't want to be. Not with him pressed against me like he was afraid I'd disappear if he let go. "God, you're beautiful," he breathed against my shoulder, voice ragged, words sinking through my skin deeper than the steam ever could. I tangled my fingers in his hair, tugging him closer when he paused like he might ask if this was okay. It was more than okay. It was everything I'd ever told myself I shouldn't want: his warmth, his weight, the soft hitch in his breathing when my nails scraped lightly down his back. Somewhere in the haze, I thought about how this would look tomorrow. The couch I was supposed to sleep on. The polite distance we'd destroyed in the space of a shower door, and a word I never knew I needed to hear: "Don't stop." But then his mouth found the curve beneath my ear and every thought fled, replaced by the sharp, sweet rush of him pulling me deeper into the kind of touch that makes you forget you were ever lonely. His hands framed my face again, thumb stroking my cheek as if to ground me in this moment, this stolen, dripping, half-sane moment. "Tell me to stop," he murmured. But I couldn't. My silence was my answer, my hips pressing closer, my lips crashing against his like maybe if we kissed hard enough, we'd never have to be careful again. Outside the bathroom, the city moved on without us. Inside, everything slowed until there was only breath, skin, and the soft, impossible ache of wanting him closer than I could stand. Later, when the heat settled and my heartbeat finally remembered how to slow down, he held me against the bathroom wall like he couldn't quite believe I was real. Drops of water slid from my hair onto his chest, pooling between us, cooling too fast against the warm, trembling hush of our bodies pressed together. Neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. His fingertips traced lazy, reverent lines up and down my spine, each pass a quiet apology for every year we'd wasted pretending this didn't exist. Outside the door, the hallway light flickered, a sharp reminder that the world was still there, waiting to make us ordinary again. But inside this soft pocket of leftover steam and skin, I wasn't just a runaway ex-girlfriend, and he wasn't just an old friend doing me a favor. I was his. Or maybe he was mine. Maybe we'd always been teetering here, a breath away from a confession neither of us was brave enough to make. His lips brushed my forehead. My pulse stuttered all over again at how gentle he could be after how boldly he'd told me not to stop. "Stay as long as you want," he whispered, voice rough with sleep and leftover desire. "Or forever. I don't care anymore." I laughed, shaky, too full of him to say anything clever back. So I just kissed him instead, slow, grateful, wondering how many nights I'd get to fall apart in his arms before we figured out what this really meant. I came here running from a mistake. But tonight, pressed against the cold bathroom tile with him wrapped around me like a promise, I knew this wasn't a mistake at all. And maybe tomorrow I'll find the words for it. But tonight, I'm still here. And I'm not stopping.